Welcome to Fireside Knicks. My name is Alex, your host for today. Well, Knicks coming off a win against the Houston Rockets. Kind of surprising they were actually able to scrape that win together after, really not having much of their depth and starting level players like RJ Barrett, no Quentin Grimes, no Obi Toppin, and of course, no Kevin Knox. So what does Tom Thibodeau do in this contest? Obviously he starts Derrick Rose. He gets a sore ankle. He leaves midway through. And now you're talking about Miles McBride, West Virginia standout, kind of featuring with the G League this year predominantly and making the jump to the bigs. Now, 2 games, the guy kind of looks like a stud, right? He kind of looks like he's got something special. And I think him and Immanuel Quickley together could be a really intriguing duo to really spark this team. The Knicks rather have had a pretty difficult season in terms of consistency, right? I could go on and on about, Evan Fournier. I think that might have been the biggest mistake signing. And they really, after everyone said, we don't need more 3-and-D players, now we're desperate for 3-and-D players. We're desperate to have a defensive maestro coming here who can just get into the right positions and knock down 3-point shots. Evan Fournier, if he's not hitting them, he's breaking them, right? They're freaking careening off the rim. They're coming up short. He's airballing. They're hitting off the backboard. The guy, it's either a hit or a terrible miss. He's never a close miss. So I think that, Fournier, aside from his very, very wild and consistent shooting, his defensive attributes have been just absolutely horrendous. His positioning is awful. He's really slow to react. His feet and his hands are not in sync. He's just been a disaster this season. And I think Quentin Grimes actually could be the 3-and-D player with a little splash of playmaking ability. And I think that's kind of what they wanted from Fournier in the first place. They wanted a player, who could come and be decent at defense, knock down 3-point shots, but also create. I think Quentin Grimes is a far better defender than Evan Fournier. I imagine most people will agree with that. In addition, I think that he's actually a pretty damn good scorer too. Obviously, he's out with COVID now. And then Immanuel Quickley was ruled out on Friday for the game on Saturday against the Celtics with COVID as well. So they're going to be missing 5 players. But that really opens up an opportunity for one guy in specific, and that is Miles McBride, right? Miles McBride, the kid's been a stud, right? So he finished yesterday against the Houston Rockets with 15 points. But the one statistic, the points, obviously great. Really love to see that. But the statistic that stood out to me was his 9 assists. He had a plus 19 plus slash minus, only one starter, which was Alec Burks, had a positive one. So McBride, 9 assists, 4 steals, and he had the biggest hands of any point guard in the 2022 NBA draft, which is a really good sign for the Knicks because he has that sleight of hand attribute. If you ever play Call of Duty, sleight of hand, really able to quick up ammo and stuff like that. McBride here is similar in the way he has huge hands. He's quick. He has a huge wingspan, and he's able to intercept those passes and really make a difference in that defensive category, which ended up being a big thing for the Knicks in this game because four turnovers turned into points. He also showed a lot of really good versatility in transition too. He was driving to the basket. When he was at the G League, he showed really high efficiency from 3-point range. He shot 40% from 3. In this last game, he shot 2 for 5. And Immanuel Quickley 7 for 10. I think that duo right there, McBride and Quickley off the bench, could be something special. I don't think McBride's close to being a starting level player yet, but I'll tell you what, his last 2 games have been better than any point guard we've seen this season. I mean, aside from Derrick Rose on numerous occasions, but Alec Burks, he's a primary scorer, right? He had 9 rebounds in this game, but he had 1 assist. He's not an assist man. He's not a true and tried point guard. He's more of a shooting guard, but he plays decent enough defense to hold it down in the starting 5. They rely on Julius Randle to kick it out and get those assists. He had 6 in the game. But McBride and Quickley here, this is an intriguing pair. I would love to see Tom Thibodeau utilize him more frequently in the coming days and weeks. And I kind of think that McBride deserves more playing time with these guys on COVID. It opens up an opportunity for him to really, this is the opportunity of a lifetime for a guy like McBride. Second round pick coming in here. Everybody knows he has some good attributes, but he needs more developing time. I think the coaches have done a phenomenal job getting him to a place where he can actually make an impact now. And he basically said after the game, I think I can help this team win. I think I can help this team compete. And the energy that he brought to the floor was also something that stood out to me. Players this year on the Knicks have continuously said, we've been out hustled, we've been out rebounded, we've just been overwhelmed energetically. And I think Miles McBride comes in here. He shows energy, he gets up, he runs, he sprints down the floor. He is really, really good on the ball. He gets into passing lanes with huge hands and huge wingspan. I think that he's a player that we got to keep a really close eye on as a developing athlete. And I think that he could end up being a long-term solution at point guard for this team. Now, is he going to end up starting this year? Probably not. But with Quickley, being supplemented out with this COVID situation kind of hitting the Knicks pretty hard right now. I mean, the kid even said he showered with his masks on. He's trying to be so careful. So he gets COVID. McBride, though, still okay. He played 36 minutes. That's only 1 minute less than Alec Burks, who had 37, which was a team high against Houston. I think that this is an opportunity for him to really play another 35 plus minutes. And he had 8 points against Golden State. That was a game that he really showed he deserved to be on the floor. He only had 1 assist in that game and 50% 3-point shooting over 20 minutes. But 9 assists, man, that's a number that really, I like to see. Quickley's been playing a lot better recently. 3 consecutive games with double-digit points, including, I think, 24, was it, for the Knicks. And in this last game against Houston, I think this is a team that really has relied on the second unit this year. It's really been kind of tough and problematic for them at times because the starters have just been so lackluster across the board. I mean, Julius Randle's kind of starting to hit those 3-point shots again and really get a little bit more efficient in the field, but his defense is still spotty. He turned the ball over 3 times in this game. But Quickley, McBride, those two guys, they're spark plugs. They're catalysts for this offense. And I think their defense is actually pretty good too. So against smaller teams like Toronto, we played a couple days ago. I would have liked to see Quickley and McBride kind of feature in that tandem and that duo, and have that energy, just take advantage. And hopefully we get to see more of that in the future, guys. But I'd love to hear what you think in the YouTube comments section about these two players. Personally, I think McBride, we got something special there. I'm really excited to see what he can do with this team. And I think Thibodeau notices that he deserves more playing time, so hopefully he does enjoy that. Make sure to like the episode below on YouTube. Much appreciated as always. And of course, make sure to subscribe as well. And we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Knicks episode.